Today, we dive into the incredible true story of Yasuke, the first African samurai, a man whose arrival in 16th century Japan shook the foundations of tradition and power. Yasuke's journey begins in Africa, likely in what we now know as Mozambique, during the mid-1500s, a time when powerful kingdoms thrived across the continent. He was brought across the ocean by a Jesuit missionary, stepping into a world far removed from his own. But the moment he arrived in Japan, he stood out, not just for his towering height and powerful build, but for the quiet strength he carried with him. At the time, the nation was on the brink of transformation. Warlords clashed for control, and centuries-old traditions were being tested. Meanwhile, Africa flourished with its own diverse cultures, deep philosophies, and warrior legacies. Yasuke's very presence was more than unexpected. It was revolutionary. He became a living symbol of a world growing more connected, and a walking testament to the powerful exchange of cultures that would shape history in both the East and the West. Oda Nobunaga was a force of nature, a brilliant and ruthless warlord who reshaped Japan during the chaos of the Sengoku era. In a time when rival clans fought endlessly for power, Nobunaga rose with a vision: to unify the nation and crush the old order. His tactics were bold, his ambition unmatched, and his name inspired both fear and respect across the land. It was in the middle of this upheaval that Yasuke entered his world, a towering African warrior who had arrived with Jesuit missionaries. At first, Yasuke served in the background, but Nobunaga saw something rare: strength, presence, and loyalty. Defying tradition, Nobunaga elevated Yasuke to the rank of samurai, one of the very few non-Japanese ever to hold such a title. From that moment on, their destinies were bound together, forever etched into the history of a nation in transition. Becoming a samurai was one of the highest honors in feudal Japan, a title earned through not just skill with a blade, but through loyalty, discipline, and unshakable honor. For Yasuke, that path was anything but easy. As an African man in a rigid, highly traditional society, he faced skepticism, whispers, and cultural barriers at every turn. But his strength was undeniable, his presence commanding, and in battle he proved himself time and time again. Oda Nobunaga, a leader who valued loyalty above bloodline, saw what others missed. He recognized greatness, and in a historic moment, he broke tradition. He handed Yasuke a katana, and with it, a title that few had ever imagined possible. Yasuke was no longer just a servant. He was a samurai, a symbol of loyalty, resilience, and the power to transcend boundaries once thought unbreakable. Yasuke's presence in Japan wasn't just rare, it was revolutionary. At a time when the world was still divided by distance, language, and fear of the unfamiliar, he stood as a living bridge between Africa and Japan. His role as a samurai shattered stereotypes and forced people to reconsider what was possible. His strength earned respect, his honor sparked curiosity, and his very existence planted seeds of cultural dialogue that would echo far beyond the 16th century.